Yo, what is up guys? Roni here. Just making another little tutorial. On my last video, you guys kind of wanted to see how to make the little rectangle overlay for my videos, or that I use for my videos in stream. So yeah. To do that, I pretty much start off by getting the rectangular marquee tool. Just press M on your keyboard or go up to the top here and select the rectangular one. Alright, and then from there, I usually just stretch it all the way across this image from one HUD piece to the other. And then I'll just select the color that I like. My saturation's kind of high, so I don't even really know what color I'm 100% picking. But that'll be fine right there. So what I do then is just make a erase or an eraser brush or whatever. Get the size up a bit to about like that. Oh, 666, and the hardness all the way down so it makes a little fade in effect type thing. And then what I do from here is just erase so I can see the little bits right here, the little HUD areas. Alright, that looks about right. And if your fade goes a little bit in like this, oops, I messed it up, something, you can just hit Control T and drag it out as far as you want. So yeah. And then after making that, I like to play around with the layer style little box thing. To pull up this, if you're new, you just double click the layer. Yeah. There's a few layer styles you kind of want to stay away with on here, or away from, sorry, on here, and one being the bevel and emboss, contour, contour, and texture. Actually, texture won't be that bad, but it's just something you probably don't want to use to make it look better. Pattern, I guess, kind of. I don't really use patterns, I just overlay them instead of using them in the layer style. Another one, the ones I like to use though more commonly, is the gradient. So go ahead, select that if you're following along, hit overlay, and then you can actually play around with it, overlay or normal, and just lower the opacity a little bit. I like to do it so it's hardly visible, so it's like that. Oh, and stroke, because if you do stroke, it'll just put this stuff on here. Yeah. And then after doing a good gradient, we can play around with the inner shadow. I like to use that. I like to put the distance on 0, and then the size, just as far as it looks good. Whatever looks good is what I use. This kind of gives it an effect, so it's indented a little bit. I don't know actually why I use it. It's just kind of cool looking. I use drop shadows sometimes, but not very much, just because it gives it a little shadow. If you want to use that, it kind of makes it pop a little bit better. And I'm actually gonna raise the inner shadow. My saturation's so high, I can't really even really tell what looks good. And yeah, so after we have that, we can make another layer, and this is what I really love to do to my overlays, is basically select the pencil tool, make it white, or actually no, start with black right now. And you want to just stretch it a little bit farther away from the overlay, so about there and there. We can move it around till it looks a little good. Oh man. Alright, that looks good. There we go. Fits perfectly on there. And then take the eraser tool again and just delete it so it's barely, oops, so it's barely showing, I guess, from the sides, so it doesn't look as bold. And then what I like to do from there is duplicate that layer. You can obviously put a drop shadow, but I just like doing this, putting a color overlay, and then putting overlay on that. Oops, I gotta. Alright, there we go. Once you do a color overlay, you have to make it a smart object and then do a rasterized layer to make it edible. Alright, so that looks pretty good. It's kind of like popping a little. I like that effect. Just zoom in a little bit to see it better. And yeah, so from there, I also like to kind of put a little bit of noise, but not like so high. Maybe one looks alright. One looks alright there. So we'll just keep that there. And then yeah, so basically you have your bar created already. It's pretty simple if you followed the tips. And obviously I took the image off of Google so I can just get a better reference. Alright, sorry about that guys, I couldn't really find a texture I liked, so I found one off of Google. It's this texture right here, so right now I'm just going to do copy, or sorry, save. And then I'm going to go ahead, drag that onto here, make it a little bigger. I really like this this little, I guess, style, just because it gives it like, I don't know, it just gives it a cool look. And so we're gonna play around with the layer styles a bit. That looks kind of cool. Gonna have to rasterize. And you just want to make the fade again on each side. Hopefully your guys' texture fits the whole image, because that'd be a lot better looking. Lower the image, or lower the opacity a little. And then what you want to do now to delete the extra stuff, you can hold control and then click the actual image of the layer, and it'll put the little dots around it. Select inverse and it'll select everything but the actual rectangle, and then you hit delete. So that deletes it all. It's looking pretty good. I like it. Alright, so now what we're going to do is start adding the text to it. For now I'm probably going to end the video here, just because the text is all up to you really. So yeah, thanks for watching guys. Hope you learned something at least. I know I'm a really bad tutorial maker, and yeah, I can't really help it. I'm just a bad talker. I said a lot of ums and whatnot. But yeah, thanks for watching. Comment what you would like to see next or something.